News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. Chuck Lavelle, keyboardist for the Rolling Stones, keyboardist back in the day for the Allman Brothers. So many different things he's done. Welcome back to the show, Chuck Lavelle, and thank you for spending some time with us. Always a treasure. Always a yearn to have you back on. So thank you for having time for us here after the tour.
A pleasure, my friend. Great to be with you.
So you always have some good stories for us, something funny or fascinating behind the scenes with Keith and Mick. Last time it was Mick telling Keith, telling you guys you got to hydrate at the Meadowlands or something, and Keith's like, I have ice in my glass. So something about the funny or fascinating behind the scenes with Mick and Keith.
Well, man, it's just become a very consistent thing with this band. We go in, we work hard at it, and during the rehearsals, one fun thing in the rehearsals in California was that in the same compound we had Paul McCartney, who stopped by several times.
Nice.
and played little drums for fun while we were there, and also John Mayer, my friend, was working in another studio in the same compound. So it was a lot of fun to have these personalities coming around and interacting with us. We worked hard, man. The rehearsals, we don't take it lightly. We work a good probably 7 hours a day, take the weekends off usually, but I think we touched on something like 80 different songs during the rehearsal period.
Wow.
And of course we had a new record, Hackney Diamonds, to pick out some songs from that to showcase. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we wound up doing maybe 4 or 5 during the course of the tour.
Yes.
And they were very well received.
Yes, great album. Great album.
We were grateful for that. Keith, I'm not sure I should even let people know this, but he got COVID on the first show, before the first show.
Oh.
And he, man, what a champ this guy is. I mean, he plowed through it. It was uncomfortable. It was difficult. It sucked a lot of energy out. But boy, I mean, nobody could have figured out the difference, really.
That's amazing.
And so the first 2 or 3 shows, he got over it, of course, and then from there we were on, rocket fuel, and just really just tore the tour up from that point on. And, Mick is so disciplined, and he works very, very hard to be able to do what he does. He doesn't just wake up and the day of the show and go out there and start running around. He works at it very, very hard. And his routine and his discipline is a role model for me. I'm telling you, as much time as he spends staying fit and looking after himself and making sure that he can deliver the goods when the goods need delivering. It's just, it's an amazing thing to watch and to be involved in. And so, when I see all of that going on and I wake up in the hotel room and, okay, where's the gym? I'm going.
Yes.
I'm going to keep myself in shape because I want to make sure I can support Mick, I can support Keith, I can support Ronnie to the best of my ability. That's my goal, and I'm never going to waver from that.
Chuck, that's one of the things I was going to ask, and you pretty much answered it. Is Mick the driving force for discipline and wise business practice and meticulous attention to detail? That's what I've deduced.
Well, we're all survivors, right?
Yeah.
God knows the Keith Richards story is so fascinating
yes.
and amazing. And,
yes.
And, he'll probably outlive all of us.
Yes.
and that's a good thing. But,
yeah.
But, Keith is also very, very disciplined in his own way, man. Just look at the knowledge that both of these guys, Mick and Keith especially, and Ronnie, I'm not going to leave Ronnie out of this. about the history of studying the blues, studying, like Motown and other genres of music, studying country. Keith was very close to Graham Parsons, and a lot of those country songs come from that idiom. And of course, Mick is a student of all these things, as is Ronnie. And, it takes a lot of listening, a lot of discipline, a lot of practice, a lot of wherewithal, a lot of doing this over and over and over. And then, of course, they go on to write these incredible songs. I have no idea what the number is, Chris, but It's probably 300 plus and maybe even more. Of songs that they've written and put out there that we all know and love, right?
Yes.
And so it's just a remarkable partnership to be a part of. It really is. And I cherish every moment that I spend with these guys. I'm always learning from them, and it's a joy to do my best to contribute to what they want to do.
So Chuck Leavell, keyboardist for the Rolling Stones, 40 years plus, also with the Allman Brothers back in the day, and so many other great projects, his own band Sea Level and others. So a couple of quick questions here. I know we got a limited time, but one of my theories is, as to why I believe Mick and Keith and you guys keep playing when you don't need to. Clearly, Mick and Keith don't need the money, for example, obviously. But to me, it's got to be a drug to them. It's a healthy, real, legal. It's like a drug. I mean, the high of performing in front of such an audience. Is that why the band keeps touring?
Keith Richards once said, I think, very adeptly, Chuck, it's like food to us. It's food. You have to nurture your body. You have to nurture your mind.
Yes.
And that's what music and songwriting and performing is for these guys. It's food. It's not like they have to do it. There's no choice, right?
Got it.
I mean, that's just the way it is. And, Chris, if I may mention, you were so kind to make a reference earlier about a program called America's Forest, and I'd just like to elaborate slightly on that, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
What America's Forest with Chuck Leavell is a 13-part series on PBS, but also available on Prime. These are 30-minute programs that have to do with the art and the practice of forestry, and all things to do with, what trees and forests do for us. And let me just give you a quick, for instance, one of the episodes we did in California, we went to the Fender guitar factory, right?
Yes.
And we discovered how they acquire their wood, how they craft it into these beautiful instruments and so forth. These are the kind of stories that people don't think so much about that have to do with forestry.
Yes.
So I love bringing this information to the general public. And again, it's a PBS series, but also available on Amazon.
That's good to know. And it really complements your children's book way back in the day about the tree farmer.
Well, there you go. And one thing that we haven't touched on, I just had the most amazing engagement in Atlanta at the Fox Theater to celebrate Jimmy Carter's 100th birthday, which is coming up on October 1st.
That's amazing. Tell me about that.
Fantastic?
Yes, Jimmy Carter, because he thankfully is still alive and doing okay, and that's important. The other thing is that he played a big role with you and the Allman Brothers early on, and it's said that the Allman Brothers may have helped get him elected way back when.
Well, it's absolutely true, and we supported his campaign for president and raised a lot of money for him. And we were very, very proud of his administration. We're very, very proud of everything he's done since he's been out of office, and we're certainly proud of him right now. But I want your listeners to know that this will also air on PBS, and that will be on his actual birthday, October the 1st. He will be 100 years old on October the 1st. And just to give you a quick lineup, we had I was honored to play a couple of songs with the band, and we had Eric Church, we had the B-52s, we had India RA, and just a litany, a wide range of of musical talent, and also video clips from every living president, including President Bush, who got a standing ovation with his litany and tribute to President Carter. So you guys got to watch this thing. It's so fun.
Excellent. Absolutely cool. So PBS and Amazon on his 100th birthday.
Well, PBS on the 100th birthday. The Amazon
already there
has to do with my America's Forest program.
Right on. Okay, got it. Thank you very much. Now, Chuck, just to close this off, another Stones tour album possible, you think?
I think very possible. Of course, it's up to the three guys.
Right.
But I think they're looking at possibilities. I don't think they want to stop. Well, I know they don't want to stop. And so as long as they can come up with a plan that makes sense, I think we'll be moving forward.
In fact,
I hope so.
As a music director, which is really profiled in a lengthy, awesome USA Today piece a couple of months ago, you would know that Don't Stop is one of the Stones songs because you're the musical director.
Don't stop, baby. Don't stop.
It's one of my favorite songs. Thank you so much, Chuck Leavell. We cannot wait to talk to you again down the road a little bit. And may you continue to be blessed with your family, your musicians, and everything with the Stones. Thank you for your time, sir.
You're a good man, Chris.
And so are you.
I always enjoy speaking with you, and blessings to all those wonderful folks in Texas.
Amen. Talk to you. Thank you. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. So this is quite a story I got today, and I want to have him on right away. Kevin Simons from Quick Draw Shirts in Plano. Kevin, am I saying it right? It's Simons, right?
Simons is correct. Yes, sir.
Excellent, sir. First of all, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you very much, and thanks for your listenership.
Yeah, not a problem at all. I'm a big fan.
I appreciate it. Well, I'm a big fan of yours, then. Thank you very much for you, brother. And here's what I wanted to ask you. So first of all, it's cool to know, I mean, you don't just do this. You didn't just try to get into the State Fair of Texas, which you've been doing for years. You do state fairs in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Idaho, all over the country, really, in Louisiana, right?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So this is not an aberration for you to be given a vending abilities to sell your shirts, your wares at the fairs. So for some reason you keep getting turned down. And this year you said that you were on the phone with the director of exhibit. I don't want to put the words in your mouth. So because I'm on a definite tirade on this, that they're taking away concealed carry now from people that are licensed like myself, and it outrages me. And it's the State Fair of California, not the State Fair of Texas. But you reached out to me to tell me that you're not allowed to sell there. They said no because of why?
Well, the last time I applied there, every time you apply to be a vendor, it costs $35 to apply.
Okay.
Whether you're in or not is $35 to apply. And the last time I applied was in 2011. And the director of exhibits actually told me that the reason why I was being declined 4 years in a row was because he didn't want to offend the patrons with my logo, which has guns on it.
I see the logo. I like it. It's like a Yosemite Sam, except it's a person and there's no head on it. There's just a shirt with a person holding two guns out, right?
Very cool, yes. And it's still California compliant as far as having only 6 rounds.
Are you? So, and by the way, people can see your logo. You just got to scroll down a little bit. I tweeted it out about an hour, just under an hour ago. Quick Draw Shirts. So you talked to the director of exhibits this year, I guess, and you called her and she said, "Can I get a permit?" And she said, "Tell me what she said to you."
Well, this was back in 2011.
Oh, 2011. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why we couldn't get in there, which didn't want to offend. Now, I've got another friend who actually was there for 2 years, I think 2022 and 23, and he sells polos. I don't want to drop any names, but every design has to be approved by this person who's in charge of the exhibits. And a lot of his product was not able to make it to the fair, mainly because they were on the I don't know if you remember it's the domestic terrorist watch list graphics.
I don't. Okay.
So some of the shirts that he had that had the Gonzalez flag were not available to be sold there because it's on that list. One shirt that has a Second Amendment, just the Second Amendment on it, is not available. There was a couple of military logos, in fact, that could not make it because it has guns on them.
I see what you're talking about. Come and take it. So I'm looking at that like that. There's a anyways. The Gonzalez flag. I'm looking at the version of it. Interesting. You know what? We can talk for a few. You got another minute or two, real fast. When we come back, just want to finish up with you, not rush this. All right, stand by.
No problem.
Kevin Simons, I'm sorry, from Quick Draw Shirts in Plano. He says they denied him because there's guns on his T-shirts, I believe. We'll have him say his full story next, and it's just interesting. I wonder if that offends you. You could see the picture yourself on my Twitter feed at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrock. And I have reached out to the State Fair of Texas and asked them to come on the show, and also asked them a couple of their people that are PR, the head, and one of the other people that handles PR have come on our shows. So nothing yet. I'm sure they're busy this first day. We'll get back to Kevin for a minute. Then we're going to have some fun. We're going to do Disneyland mom arrested for sneaking her kids in without paying for them. I have audio of this. You're sneaking into places stories that you've seen, or maybe you were the one back in the day. P. Diddy's baby oil warning from health officials, and much more. Radioactive material on the streets of Dallas-Fort Worth. I'll tell you about that. Much more next. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. So just following up, State Fair of Texas, as you know, banned concealed carry holders from licensed concealed carry holders from carrying for the first time ever. It outrages me. It's not the State Fair of Texas, State Fair of California now. And then in that context, listener Kevin Simons, who owns Quick Draw Shirts in Plano, reached out to me and sent me a message on Twitter. And so Kevin, thanks again for spending a minute or two with me. I appreciate you holding firm. And you're at the Tulsa. It's called the Tulsa State Fair, is it?
That's correct, yes. Yeah,
so, and then you actually were vending tonight, so just hot off the presses here from your workday, and thanks for joining us. So, okay, so the State Fair of Texas denied you, and go ahead and explain what the director said. And by the way, this is in 2011. I thought it was just recently. Do you still keep applying every year and still keep getting denied?
I don't. After our last conversation, it was painfully obvious that there was no way for me to actually gain entry into the State Fair of Texas.
Even though you are at the State Fair of Tulsa, State Fair of Oklahoma, whatever they're called in those, in Idaho and Louisiana. So it's not like you're trying to do this on an odd one-off. So, and tell me what they said to you and what the response was about something about your logo had guns or something. Say that again.
Correct. So on the fourth application, I called the director of
the fourth time getting denied. Yeah.
Right. Every time it was a different excuse. The first time I was too late. The second time, we got rid of a building where vendors were, so we're using that for entertainment. And then it was just excuse until the fourth time when I actually talked to the director and said, "Excuse me, how do I get into this fair? Because I'm literally 30 minutes away." And that's when he said, "I just don't like your stuff because you have guns on them, and I don't want to offend anybody."
Wow.
To which I'm like, "So only the shirts with guns on it?" He's like, "But you have guns on your logo, which means that you have guns on all of your shirts." Now, every time I tell this story outside of the state of Texas, a lot of people give me that winced look and say, "But it's Texas."
Yes.
I don't understand.
Yes.
And my answer is it's a microcosm of Austin that runs the State Fair of Texas.
If you look at, and I can tell you this, that jives with what their decision was to remove state. It's appalling and enraging to me, if you want, enraging, but highly offensive to me and angering that the state of Texas has a state fair that doesn't allow concealed carry holders that are licensed. It's especially after last year when the thugs shot up the food court, and it wasn't one of us, it was one of them, a thug, and they look at us as thugs, and we're the threat now. It's unbelievable. So
100%. Yes, especially since statistically licensed carry holders have a better record than some police officers do nationwide.
Well, I wasn't aware of that one. I'm not going to challenge you on that, but I will say that I know that we're 12 times less likely to commit a crime, as evidenced by the state of Texas's own research 20 years into it with Governor Bush. So I appreciate your coming on tonight, and I wish you all the best. And I tweeted out your logos. And also, when I click on your website, there's a whole bunch of different shirts. They're not all guns. In fact, there's like almost no guns on this front page. But there's nothing wrong with your logo. I think it's great. I think it's a very good eye-catching logo. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sad to say I'm not shocked. I also did reach out to the State Fair of Texas, their top PR people, and I asked them if they wanted to come on. No response yet, probably because it's their first day, but we shall see. I appreciate you very much, Kevin. I wish you all the best and very safe travels on all your way, and look forward to meeting you one of these days, okay?
Thank you, Chris.
Take care,
to you
brother.
later.
All right. There we go. Just another hardworking North Texas business owner. And I'm grateful that he came on tonight. I was, sometimes people get a little skittish. So, thank you, sir. Okay, now we're gonna throw up some throw a few sheets to the wind like I like to do on my third hour towards the end on Friday nights and towards the end of the third hour, and we have a little fun. Disneyland arrests mom. She's in the mouse years, and they cuff her, and she's got her little kids next door. Well, why did they do this? Have you ever seen anybody arrested at Disney World or Disneyland? This was at Disneyland, but it's the same thing. It's a place of I love going there. Even though they hate us now, for the most part. I love going there. My dream to this day, and we're going to do it a little bit later, my wife and I, because the kids are almost all out of the nest. We have to get a little more liquid down the road with Bidenomics and Kamalanomics. But I want to stay at the Contemporary Hotel. It's been my dream since I was a kid. I think we stayed there one time when I was little. I can't remember now. But I know we also stayed at the Polynesian Resort. Oh, dude. Anyway, but this mom was arrested because she allegedly snuck her two kids in to the park and without paying. And she claimed one was two to get in for free. Claiming they were both 2 years old to get in for free. Disney says if you have a paid ticket as an adult, your 3-year-old or under comes in free with you. So I'm guessing, they actually, she claims she paid for herself and her daughters to attend the park, but tells Disneyland staff that they took her tickets from her along with her phone. She was told she was trespassing and ejected from the park, to which she said, "You're effing hurting me," which is what you heard in there. They should have tased her. Clubbed her in the head like a harp. I'm just joking, but clubbed her in the head like a harp seal. What's that? Yeah. Mickey comes out with a taser. Huh? Hold steady. It's gonna hurt. Huh? Hi. I'm tasing your bleep. I'm tasing your bleep. You bleep. Wow. Don't mess with the mouse. So she says so the Anaheim police officers guided her out with her arms behind her back. She was crying. Her crying daughters, you heard, they're screaming and being terrified. I mean, it wasn't their fault. The kids, they don't know what's going on. But she claims that she paid for her daughters, but the Disneyland staff, as I said, they said that they took her tickets to the phone. She was trespassed. What happened was he was arrested after she allegedly snuck the two daughters into the park, claiming they were two, and the kids are more likely around the age of 6, authorities say. That's why I love this story. Your kids are 6. Yeah, you're 2. They're very special. They're very special. They have an oaf syndrome or something, right? I don't know. Make some syndrome up. They were allegedly they added that it was allegedly her fourth gate crash in 2 months. This is her fourth time. Yes, you go, girl. You get you those free Disney passes. Very funny. And I guess I'll ask you this: what are your sneaking into places stories? Do you have a story of sneaking into somewhere or somebody else sneaking in, good or bad, like you or you doing it one time back in the day, or somebody else and it goes not good for them, etc. I've got some from when I was younger. I don't do this now. Unless it was something innocuous, not theft like this, but you know what I mean? A little innocuous. We're already here. We got tickets. Let's just move up a little bit, something like that. We move up to seats that when there's no one there and it's obviously not going to, So I've got some when I was younger that were more punk-ish, but I wouldn't do now, but I'll share mine from back in the day. Sneaking into places, stories for you or others, and how did it go? I'll tell you mine when I was at a Stones concert when I was younger in college, and U2 concert in that time frame too. All that's coming up next. And then doctors are issuing a warning about using baby oil in the bedroom after Diddy sex trafficking story. You've got to hear this. Yes, yes, yes. And radioactive material in DFW on one of our highways. Wow. Next. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. Y'all always love being with you every single night. 15 years as of this, upcoming Easter. So we're getting close. We're at 14 and a half plus years together, and that means everything to me. So thank you. It means everything. Really, really. We're talking about who we're talking to. We're talking to a guy who used to work in radio, who is from here. He went out and did a lot of radio big time back in the day, and he was on the Bird throughout California at one point. The Bird, we call it syndication, and really, really nice guy. And he interacts with my wife at work, and I swung by and we talked for a while. And we remarked, and he remarked too. It really is amazing to be at the same place in this business for this long. And especially at a major market top station that we are in the country. So real honor. Thank you for making that possible. Now, so this mom was arrested and busted. I told you about that at Disneyland for trying to sneak in her two kids. She did it actually 4 times in 2 months, saying there were 2 when they're 6. So they finally cuffed her and stuffed her and tossed her out, and now she's suing them, and she says she's going to give her story on TikTok. She's going to use this because woman's an idiot. She's a woman's an idiot. Anyways, I love it. Good luck, ma'am. Good luck. You're not going to get much sympathy from much anybody, but do you have any stories where you snuck in back in the day, good ones or bad ones? How did it go? Or maybe you've seen people sneak in and get caught and it didn't go well, or whatever. 800, or maybe you said, get out of here, whatever. They told the security guards, let's get this guy out of here. I paid all this money to be here, and that person's sneaking in. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. So for me, these are when I was younger. I wouldn't do some of this stuff now, if not all of it. When I went to the Stones concert, we were at, I was at college in Western Illinois University, and Tony Romo went to Eastern, by the way. So I found out the Stones, I already saw them on their 96 Voodoo Lounge tour, and I found out they were going to go through Des Moines. And Des Moines was only 2, 3, 4 hours from where we were at. So, and I'm like, the Stones are going to Des Moines? What? So they did, and they went to Cyclone Stadium, which is a massive, football stadium for, I don't know if they're Division I or something. I'm sure they are. And it was a massive stadium, football stadium. And that Blind Melon was opening for them. Remember Blind Melon? They were real big for a little bit, and then the guy died from heroin, unfortunately. But I saw him open for him. It was good, and but we didn't have tickets. But back in that time, you could just show up and buy tickets from a scalper. And, you can get, so I said, don't worry. She's like, how are we getting tickets? My friend, it was a friend of mine. And she's like, well, how are we getting tickets? I'm like, don't worry. We'll just get them when we get there. Trust me. And I've been through this kind of thing all the time. So we go there, and I sure enough, at the stoplight, as you turn into the stadium, I got tickets. But they were like on the opposite sides of the stadium. They were like $30 or $40 or $50 tickets. If that, they were nothing. You know what I mean? And they were on the opposite sides. They were nosebleed on the opposite side of the stadium. And I said, don't worry. She's like, well, we can't sit together. I mean, yes, we can. Don't worry about it. So we go in there, and then I'm walking, and then I'm like, wait, we're walking in the stadium, and we're about to go down to the floor, even though we're not supposed to go down there. And I said, let's just go down there and let's just look around on the ground and see if there's and I looked down, and there was a ticket somewhere on the ground for like third row. Somebody dropped it. So I said, okay, what? I said, here, let me go. So I went through. And then they check it. I showed it to them, and then they had checkpoints every 10 or 15 rows. And I went through each one, and I came all the way around to the end of it, all the way on the left or something like that, because there's no checkpoint there. And I just handed it to her on the other side of the thing, and she came around, and we just kept doing that. And then I was so cocky and audacious and stupid that I actually took those seats. And then some guy came up, and he's like, well, he's coming after me, like, ah! So we ran, and then we just found a seat that was open in like the 5th or 10th row, and we just sat together on a little seat together. She was pretty obese, so it was kind of funny because it was like, what the heck? It was trying to share a seat, but we had a blast. Jim in Fort Worth, WBAP.
We used to sneak into the water park during the summers when we were in high school, and it's the water park here that's now Hurricane Harbor, but at the time it was Wet and Wild.
Yes.
Is what we do is we park. There was an apartment complex directly across the street from the water park, so we parked in the apartment complex. We'd go jump in their pool, get wet, run across the street to the return gate, and they'd go, where's your handstand? And we said, well, they didn't give us one. We went out the main gate. Just go out the car for a few minutes. Yes. They told us to come back this way.
Yes.
And they'd see us dripping wet, and they'd let us right back.
Dude. Oh, you know what you remind me of now? I forgot about this. When we were in high school / junior college, they had a drive-in movie theater back in the day. I don't know if it's still open now. I haven't driven by it in years because it's my old hometown, my old state. But we would drive into the exit. We'd turn the lights off and drive into the exit. I think it it was either open or the gate was not locked, obviously. So we just opened the gate and we walk, just drive in there with our lights off and park. Dude, it was a beautiful thing. We saw so many free movies. Yeah, and then we just sit on a roof and watch it and be stupid idiots and get yelled at by people. Listen, I appreciate your great call, Jim in Fort Worth. Appreciate you, brother.
You betcha. Bye-bye.
You too. And then one more. My friend works security at like a version of like the AAC or something like that. He worked at one of those. It was called the Rosemount Horizon in Chicago, right by O'Hare Airport. And he worked there, security, and U2 was playing. That was on one of their big, all their tours are big. And he let us in through one of the exits. He's like, meet me at this door. And it was like in the middle of the concert or towards the beginning of it. So we went, and it was so full. I honestly think we couldn't find a seat, but we just stood up. We were, way back in the area so we wouldn't get seen by anybody or bothered. He had us stand back in some other area that was, it's where the audience sat, but we sat like in the aisle or something, or stood in the aisle behind the nosebleeds or something, but it was great. We didn't go for too long, but it was great. That was good. You just don't know. And never be afraid to ask. And I remember the other things, you got to be cocky and whatever, but nowadays I have a lot more morals and scruples, but you got to be, you got to come off as cocky in a good way, or confident is a better way of saying it, not cocky. Confident. If you're confident, people usually don't even look at you and think anything's wrong. Marilyn in Fort Worth, WBAP.
Hi there.
Hey.
I was just listening to your program. I was going to tell you kind of an interesting story. I was a big tennis player back in my day, and it was around the late 90s or probably early 2000s, but I had went to the U.S. Open, and I didn't have tickets to sit on the floor, but I snuck in and I ended up sitting in Donald Trump's box. It was right on the floor.
Yes! Did you see him?
No, he wasn't there.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Some of my friends were with me, and I took a picture of it. I still have that picture where it says Trump
on
the box.
Good job. I love that, Meryl. That's awesome. Way to go. Score!